Hi Libra, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your May 2023 tarot reading. Thanks to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, the Celtic World spread as always, and also pulled the 4 agreements, Wisdom, the Oracle, and Mudra card for you guys. I'm actually going to start the reading off by one of those astrology guys we have in front of us to get an idea of where you folks should be as far as that goes. Alright, so we have Neptune, and Neptune's actually in Pisces, has been for quite some time, and for you guys, Pisces is your 6th house of work, daily routine, and health. Alright, we have 8, so 8th house energy for you guys is Taurus, and of course there's going to be plenty of energy going on there. For the first few weeks, we're going to be in Taurus season. Of course, we're going to have a new moon there as well. Uranus has been there, North Node's been there for a while, so plenty of energy going on there. And generally speaking, if I didn't mention it already, 8th house is actually related to death, rebirth, intimacy, investments, and of course, there'll be a Mercury retrograde there too, if I didn't mention that. And lastly, we have Sagittarius. So Sagittarius for you guys is your 3rd house of communication. So speaking of Mercury retrograde, right? Communication could definitely come into play for you guys this month for sure. All right, so with all that out of the way, we'll get started with the main spread. In the main situation position, we have the Knight of Swords, and challenging that, we have the King of Swords. So Gemini energy here and Aquarius energy. So on one end, you could just be feeling a little bit of a push-pull dynamic, right, with air energy this month, communication. But really what I'm seeing with this primarily for most of you, I feel like there's going to be something where you might be urged to jump into something, and I feel like this is saying with the King of Swords being in a challenge position, the key is to be a bit more discerning this month, right? So it could just be one of those things where maybe you're going to run the risk of trying to take on too much, because if I put these cards back in the spread, what stands out to me is the Knight is moving toward the 10 of Wands there, and the King of Swords, the sword is pointing right toward that. So I feel like this is saying it's going to be a reminder to you, like, hey, you've done that in the past, right? And you ended up taking on too much. That's what I feel like is going on there. So just something to watch out for. All right, in the foundation position, we have the Ace of Pentacles. So for some of you, maybe that could be what's driving that, right? Maybe you see this new opportunity come up and you really want to go after that opportunity. So to me, the way I see that could just be saying that, you know, certainly nothing wrong with going after it, but it could just be saying to pace yourself a little bit. All right, in the past position, we talked about it briefly, but we have the 10 of Wands here, which is actually a Sagittarius energy, which also came up in your dice. So yeah, it could just be saying that maybe you had just too many things going on at once in the past, right? So what always stands out to me with the artwork here is the way he's holding on to those wands. It's not even necessarily clear if he could see where he's going in front of him, right? So it could just be one of those things where it's like, all right, you take on so many things, you might even lose your way and not even know where the destination is at this point. Or at least that could have been what you were experiencing in the past. For resonant position, we have the 3 of Pentacles. So this is Capricorn energy here. And Capricorn energy, of course, is a bit more traditional, right? And it could just be saying that the key might be for you to collaborate this month, right? So maybe even delegate some things to other people. So if you feel like, okay, I really can't get around these things, they need to get done, right? Rather than spread yourself too thin, trying to do them all yourself, could just be saying the key might be to bring some people in to help with the workload that you do have this month. All right, in the near future position, we have the 4 of Cups. So Cancerian energy here. And for you guys, that's your house of career and social status. So what I'm seeing with this could just be saying, so especially if this is around some kind of career thing, right, where you feel like, oh, if I take on all these things, it's going to get me these accolades or whatever the case may be, right? I feel like it's saying that you might get some level of recognition and praise for it, but you might ultimately find that it's a bit of an empty thing, right? Where you're like, okay, I thought that I was going to feel a lot better about that, but it seems a little hollow after the fact, right? So just something to be mindful of there. All right, in the position of your influence in the situation, we have the Hermit. So this is actually the major arcana card for Virgo, which is your 12th house. So yeah, to see this says to me that for a lot of you probably already are reflecting on this, right? Where you might have this idea that, okay, something's not working out here, but what is it, right? And interestingly enough, another way to look at these two cards here, Gemini being the first of the, well, technically speaking, from where we are right now, Gemini's coming up first, then you got Aquarius, and then you guys you're wedged in the middle of those two. So it could just be one of those things there where it's saying, okay, try to find that balance, right? Which of course is Libra's area of expertise. So it could just be saying where you might realize that, okay, yeah, something's out of balance with the way things are going right now, right? And like I said, it looks like for the majority of you could just be primarily just trying to take on too much, possibly because you might have maybe these are things that multiple people asked you to do and you agreed to do them, right? Then when it's actually time to do them, you're like, okay, this is overwhelming, but feeling like you just have the obligation to do it anyway. So it could just be one of those things where you're looking at this month and being a bit more withdrawn as well. All right, in the environment position, we have the Nine of Pentacles. So yeah, to me, this is another indicator. I feel like energetically, you're just going to feel that push where it's like, okay, you might have this need to try to take everything on, but the energy around you might be actually nudging you toward taking a bit of a break and relaxing a little bit, right? So let's say if your goal was 10 of Pentacles, right, but it ends up making you miserable in the long run, it could just be say, hey, you might already be at the 9 of Pentacles level, right? If you look at the artwork around this person, it looks like they're actually able to enjoy the fruits of their labor, right? So it could just be one of those things where you're being nudged in that direction this month. Right? In the hopes or fears position, we have the Eight of Pentacles. So actually, I'm going to assume that for a lot of you, this is more of a fear, given that we just saw the Nine of Pentacles there, which is to say that you could fear that if you do take some time away from your work, right, if you don't take on everything, you'll feel like you fall behind in some way. So that's what could be at play there. And in the outcome position, we have the Seven of Wands. So yeah, to me, similar message to what I was saying there. To me, this almost looks like someone who fears that they're going to lose the ground that they've gained, right? So it's like, but when do you even get to enjoy that, right? If you feel like you get up to this level, but then you feel like you constantly have to defend yourself to not lose that position, it seems like it could be a bit of a rough cycle. But maybe that's just the energy you guys are going to be grappling with this month, right? Trying to figure out what works. How far is too far, right? To where you can't enjoy where you're at, but things along those lines there. And to be fair, this could even just be saying maybe this could just be the demands of other people, like we were talking about there, right? Maybe you're like, okay, I've taken on too much already, I can't take on anymore. So there are just too many people in your environment depending on you. You might actually be pushing them back a little bit toward the end of the month. All right, and the bottom of the deck, we have the Ten of Cups. So definitely a good indicator here that you can have everything you want, right? Because again, like I said, I feel like the key is not necessarily to reject things outright, but just to pace yourself, right? And if you already have a lot of things on your plate, try to be open to the idea of possibly bringing others to collaborate to help you get that stuff done. All right, moving on to your Four Agreements card. We have be impeccable with your word, and it says seek to know the truth. Okay, it says when you hear an opinion and believe it, you make an agreement and it becomes part of your belief system. The only thing that can break this agreement is to make a new one based on truth. Only the truth has the power to set you free. So yeah, definitely a pretty positive message there, right? So, okay, super generic example. Let's just say that this is around maybe the way you were raised, right? Oh, like you have to work, right? Maybe that was how your parents were coming up, and maybe it did work for them. But you might figure for you that, okay, you know what, I've been doing that. Maybe I've even reached a certain level of success, but it's not necessarily fulfilling for me the way I thought it would have been, right? So there could be some adjustments there, things along those lines. It doesn't have to be that big, but just one of those things that be coming into play, especially with the Mercury retrograde we're going to have with eclipse season. So there could definitely be some heavy energy circulating this month. All right. Moving on to your Wisdom of the Oracle card, we have Come to the Edge. There's the artwork, and the number is 36. So this does remind me of the Fool card, and we'll see. Maybe this card's actually going to say you should take on more, but we'll see what the actual messages are. Okay, essential meanings. It says courage, taking a leap of faith, overcoming fear, and accepting risk. The Oracle's message. Facing the unknown is the only choice you really have right now if you want to progress. It's okay to be afraid. Now is the time to take a risk that is not calculated, to feel the exhilaration as you ready yourself for a leap of faith. Spirit is present, so let go of fear. You are called to express your true self. Listen to your heart and soul, not your head. Come to the edge and discover that you can fly. You must step into the unfamiliar so that you may find your miracles. So, definitely a pretty positive message there. And I mean, like I said, this message does seem to say that it is telling you to take a bit more of a risk, but hopefully that resonated. The relationship message says it's scary to be truly intimate with someone, so allow him or her to see all of you, especially the parts of you that you've kept hidden and protected. Now is the time to take that risk and let yourself be seen, truly seen. It's important that you speak up, voice what you need, state who you are, say what you hope for. This is not the time to play it safe, but to take a leap of faith. You'll be glad you did. If you're seeking a relationship, the same applies. Take one step toward the gods and they will deliver what you truly desire. So yeah, again, pretty positive message there as well. And I mean, we do see the Ten of Cups at the bottom of the deck, so definitely looks like relationship potential in that regard, so hopefully that resonated. And the prosperity message says, if ever there was a time to take a leap of faith into the unknown, it is now. This is the perfect moment to take a big risk. The unknown is the only choice now, and if you come to the edge, you will discover treasure beyond your wildest dreams. Allow your courage to lead you in spite of your fears. You don't need to know the exact form of what you're going for. The essence is much more powerful, and Spirit has a way of delivering an even better version of prosperity than you could imagine. Take that step. The results will be amazing. So, definitely a positive message there as well, and that seems to me to point to possibly that Ace of Pentacles energy we see in the foundation, so hopefully that resonated. Alright, and lastly we have a Mudra card for you guys. So this is your Mudra here. It's the Prithivi Mudra. The keyword for it is assimilation. Alright, and alright, got everything in the frame there. So on the benefits, it says strengthens digestion and assimilation, helps rebuild a thin and frail constitution, creates a sense of centeredness and grounding, benefits the skin, improves the disposition, helps one adjust any kind of change or disruption to the normal schedule or routine. Spiritually, it establishes a sense of effortless joy. So if that sounds like a Mudra you think would be beneficial for you guys, we'll put the name in the description of the video as always. We'll wrap up there and I'll see you guys next month. Alright, bye.